Right, as quickly as that race completed, now we go on to race 2. Heat 2 Senior Rotax Groups B versus C. So there has been a slight change. I was informed that Eliska Babičková has withdrawn from the event this morning. So what will effectively happen, I think there will be a bit of a change, but starting from second position, well, who will effectively be at the front of the grid, will be, you'll have Archie Walker and Matthew Higgins on the front row. Then it will be Austin Lee and Lauren Legore, Petra Babičková and Janis Stiak, Dion van Werven, Tommy van der Stroys, Tobias Clausen, Archie Buttle, Nevio Fischer, Lotus Tveen, Alejandro Samaniego, Elia Papacena, Jules Roussel, Hugo Lotole Vega, Sverre Uppen, Arthur Robin, Angus Scrivener, Harun, Nikki Gauchi, Baptiste Schneider, Laurie Legris, Shirashi Itsumo from Japan, Richard Linia, Johannes Dominguez, Tom Vuau, Matteo Pianizola, Zino Falca, and someone who's got to get his elbows out today, Gustav Zusakovs in 30th position. Right then, into the tram lines we go for Senior Rotax Heat number 2. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out. We're underway first time. Good start from the front of the field. As up into turn 1, Matthew Higgins, I think, might be leading the way as they make their way up the hill. He's being followed by Austin Lee, who's now made the move up to Senior Rotax, following on from last season, where he became the Rotax Max Challenge German Junior Rotax champion. Archie Walker rounds out the top 3 as they come down the hill for the first time. There's Petra Babičková is in action. She's challenging Archie Walker's Austin Lee, now looking to go up the inside of Matthew Higgins into the hairpin. Neatly done by the 372, based out of Weisendorf. But the young man from Trafalgar in Wales will not... Well, the thing is, it's about surviving heat stay and getting yourself through. There's a bit of a squabble, a little bit of argy-bargy behind. And that was coming through into turn number 16. And there are some flat-out battles as they hurtle their way back into turn 1. Austin Lee leads the way. Matthew Higgins, 75 thousandths adrift. Archie Walker and Petra Babičková now in third and fourth. There might have just been a change for 5th position. Looks like Janis Stiak has gotten through, as there's an almighty carambolage. There's side-by-side action going through turn 7 up the hill into turn 8. I've seen it before where it's been 2-3 wide coming over the crest of the hill, and it hasn't worked out well for the person on the outside. Now Austin Lee trying to make a breakaway from Matthew Higgins. Archie Walker and Petra Babičková in close pursuit. A bit further back, looks like Tobias Clausen has just gotten up tried to get up the inside of Dion van Werven from the Netherlands, running on the CRG chassis, and has gotten through. Nice move there. Gap between first and second now just over a quarter of a second, but keep your eyes on third and fourth. They are catching rather rapidly. Janis Stiak in 5th position, currently the fastest lap of the race for him as Petra Babičková. Neat move up the inside through what would have been up towards turn number 5 on Archie Walker. And 391, based out of Essex, will stick with the Czech Republic driver. Down the hill once again. So the top four last time were covered by just under 6.5 tenths of a second. That could be very, very different come the end of lap number 3. Babičková was looking to see if she could look for a move up the inside through turn 16, but was not able to facilitate that. Looks over her right shoulder. Archie Walker not too far behind. There's a little bit further back. Laurent Legault from Canada, battling away with the likes of Jules Roussel and Nevio Fischer for what is 9th place. And now a move up the inside of Matthew Higgins from Petra Babičková through turn 5 again. Nice little move from her on Matthew Higgins. So she's done that to 2 drivers in pretty much 3 laps at the same point on the circuit. Yannick Stiak looks to try and close the gap in, and he's bringing the cavalry along with, which includes Denmark's Tobias Clausen, Dion van Werven, and also good to see last year's B&L Karting Series Junior Rotax champion making the move to seniors, Tommy van der Stroys, running the 3:11 with Boven Power. 50 seconds away from the halfway point of this second of 10 senior Rotax heats. Austin Lee continues to lead, and now the gap over Petra Babičková is a whopping 0.62 of a second. Higgins in 3rd, Walker in 4th, Stiak in 5th. And unfortunately, we have had a retirement. Japan's Shiraishi Itsumo is no longer taking any further part in this race, having retired on lap number 2. That would have been on turn 1. The 372 from Germany. Family originally from Portland, Oregon. Still runs with the stars and stripes on the side pod. Walker within a kart length of Higgins and through turns 12 and 13. Now Walker goes for the move into turn 16 on Higgins. That was a great little move from the 391 from KR Sport. Higgins trying to mount a counter-offensive through turn 17, but now will try and get the slipstream, get the run into T1, and he pulls to the inside. The 375 looks through and gets past before the apex. But Walker instantly side by side, tries to get through, but now that allows Yannick Stiak to close on in. The 339 from Wunstorf in Germany now kicking up the inside of the 391, nearly goes into the back bumper of the KR Sport driver coming out of turn 7 and on the approach into turn 8. So a very, very slight scare there for Yannick Stiak. Now down into the middle straight here at Karting Campillos. Now Archie Walker was looking to get up the inside of Higgins through turn number 11, but Higgins was very, very adamant that was not going to transpire. Now they are line astern. It's getting a bit too close for comfort. Heading into turn 16. 3 minutes and 45 seconds still to go. Austin Lee continuing to push like crazy at the front of the field, but the battle for 3rd position really heating up. Archie Walker looks to the inside. And a nice move there from the 391 from Billericay. Gets through textbook at turn number 1. As soon as, and now you can see the cavalry's come along to play as well, haven't they? Tobias Clausen and also Tommy van der Stroys on the move. Higgins was trying for a move up the inside, going through turn 8. Walker nearly loses the back end going into T9, but holds on, and now Higgins up the inside. Neatly done by the 375 and Yannick Stiak trying to get through it side by side between him and Walker. Walker looking for the inside going into T11. He runs wide in the braking zone and Yannick Stiak is through. That just goes to show when 2 drivers at the front of the train start battling, the person immediately behind them will wait and bide their time. And Van der Stroy is looking to get past Walker and dives up the inside through turn 17. And gets through. Oh, and there's a tussle between the 2 behind. Well, Dion van Verven and Tobias Clausen nearly came together and could have ended up off the circuit. I have just seen the black and white flag being shown on the digital flag by the start-finish straight for Matthew Higgins. It was ever so close, and Archie Walker now finds himself in 6th position as Tommy van der Soys now up into P5. It's pulled away. The battle for 3rd position isn't quite decided yet, folks, with just under 2 minutes to go. Gustav Zusakos, however, has been making some moves up the order. He's into the top 20. And is now battling away with Matteo Pianezzola from Italy for 19th position, having started stone dead last. 8.5 minutes to go. Austin Lee has a 7.5 tenth of a second advantage over Petra Babičková as the battle continues for 6th position between Tobias Clausen and Dion van Verven. And Archie Walker is with them. The Brit now down into 8th position. Jules Roussel now has taken 9th off of Canada's Laurent Legault in the 3:23. So less than 60 seconds, well, just under 50 seconds remain on the clock. And Austin Lee, the minute he got through and took the lead from Matthew Higgins, he has really not looked back. He's just kept pushing at the front of the field. And also has had some training from a very well-known British karter in his own right, who's also who's also been in the thick of Rotax Grand Finals action, Mr. Ed Brand. And here comes Archie Walker up the inside of Dion van Verven, gets through, had the waft down the straightaway, and van Verven could not even answer that one. Pulls straight past him as if the 377 from the Netherlands was standing still. So Walker now up into P7. So the timer has expired. Austin Lee, heading into turn 11, takes a look over his left shoulder. The gap between him and Petra Babičková has now dropped down to about 6/10 of a second. This next time around, we'll get the final lap board. So out of turn number 18 come the top two. Austin Lee being followed by the Czech Republic's Petra Babičková. 3:72 and the 3:03, 4/10 apart. Matthew Higgins and Janis Stiak, 3rd and 4th. Tommy van der Stroys in 5th with Tobias Clausen and Archie Walker now rounding out the top 7. And Babičková is looking closer and closer still. Austin Lee just focusing on the task at hand just to get to the end of this race, and would love to get his first heat victory as a senior Rotax driver in Europe. In terms of the Euro Trophy, very much sorted, and that will build confidence. You can never count out drivers like Petra Babičková or any of the family thereof whenever they are competing. But out of the final corner, it's going to be a win for Germany's Austin Lee. Just 2.5 tenths of a second ahead of Petra Babičková. Matthew Higgins took 3rd ahead of Janis Stiak. Tommy van der Stroys takes the top 5 in his first European event as a senior Rotax driver. Top 5 covered by 4 seconds at the end of that race. Tobias Clausen rounding out the top 6 ahead of Archie Walker, who was at one point battling for the race lead with Matthew Higgins. Jules Roussel, Dion van Verven, Laurent Legault rounding out the top 10. Nevio Fischer, Angus Scrivener, Hugo La Torre Vega, Archie Buttle and Arthur Robin rounding out the top 15. Lotus Tveen, Erharun, Alejandro Samaniego, Gustav Zusakovs and Sverre Ubben round out the top 20. Elia Papasena, Matteo Pianizzola, Tom Vuau, Baptiste Schneider, Nicky Gauci, Lilian Richard, Tonis Johannes Dominguez and Laurie Legris rounding out the 28 that finished. Unfortunately, on lap 7, we lost Zino Falca, and also on lap 2, we lost Shiraishi Itsumo from Japan, with Eliska Babichkova opting to withdraw from the race weekend. So the drivers now making their way through into Parc Fermé and scrutineering. Well, Heat 2 was also a bit of a blockbuster here at Karting Campillos as the field made its way out onto the 1,580-metre circuit as the sun continued to shine down here in Andalusia. So you could also see that the drivers steeling themselves, getting themselves ready by shutting the visors on their race helmets as a plume of exhaust smoke accompanied the Rotax roar as they headed out onto the track itself. We got underway under sunshine, and it was Matthew Higgins that led the field early doors, but Austin Lee enabling himself to get ahead of Archie Walker as everyone was 2-3 abreast going in towards the approach for turn 1 for the opening time. As you can see, 3 abreast at the back of the field as they went up the hill. Then Austin Lee's move here on Matthew Higgins, early doors into turn number 11, meant that the youngster from Germany would push on at a canter and at a pace which would eventually see him take the race victory. Petra Babichkova also threw her hand into the ring and neatly got through on Archie Walker one lap. A couple of laps later, she did exactly the same thing to Matthew Higgins at the very same corner. And Walker was also trying his best to get past Higgins. He managed to do so, getting through into turn 16. But then Higgins, with this textbook inside overtake, through into turn 1. And then Walker was quick on the counter-offensive, going through into turns 2 and 3, side by side. Janis Stiek came into the mix as well, as Walker would also do exactly the same to Higgins, as he'd done to him a little bit earlier on in the race with the kart from KR Sport, getting a little bit sideways whilst bumping onto the curbs into turn 1. Then Higgins' move here, at a place you rarely see an overtake happen, meant that Walker would run a little bit wide coming out of the corner, and that would allow Janis Stiek from Germany to try and get through, but Walker was quick to defend from the 339, but then opened the door quite all of a sudden, allowing the likes of Tobias Clausen and Tommy van der Stroys to make their way through. But Archie Walker was able to power past rather easily on Dion van Verven, but it was Austin Lee that would win the race, quite convincingly ahead of Petra Babichkova, who rounded out the top 2.